Hello everyone. Hello everyone. My name is Tarik Mahmood, and in this presentation I will walk you through my Lab 7 research on LastPass. It is a password manager. I have personally used it for over a decade, and after recent security incident breach, I decided to look at it more critically as a user and a researcher. Why I choose LastPass? I choose to focus this research on LastPass because this isn't just another tool I read about. It is something I have used personally for over 10 years that gave me a unique perspective on what went wrong. LastPass isn't a small name in the cybersecurity. It is one of the most recognized password manager in the world, used by individuals, families, and enterprise team alike. But what really drew my attention were the two major breaches happened in 2022 and 2023. These incidents were not just technical failure. There were breaches of trust. They showed how often companies that market themselves on security can fall short when foundational practices are neglected. This presented a rare opportunity, the chance to study a real-world failure, not just a code, but in assumption, response planning, and communication. And because password managers are a shared security layer for millions, understanding what happened here has a value beyond just the brand. It appears to everyone who uses these tools, especially in high risk sectors. Let's take a quick look under the hood of LastPass, how it is installed and behave on the system. First up, it is a cross-platform, whether you are using Chrome, Firefox, Android, iOS, or Windows desktop. There is a version for LastPass on everything. On Windows, it uses a built-in encryption framework called DPAPI or Data Protection API. This ensures the sensitive vault data on locally encrypted using keys. Try to use your Windows login credential, but that's just the start. During the installation, tools like Procman help me to trace how it interacts with the file system and the registry. You will see config directories created in app data local in LastPass and registry entries located in the plugin registration. Once running, it reaches out over secure HTTPS connection to the LastPass for syncing the vault data. I confirmed this through Wireshark, which helped me to observe the encrypted connection behavior. Finally, the browser extension plays a key role. It handles autofilling login forms, captures new credential, giving user access to the vault from their browser. Understanding these internal behavior helped me lay the groundwork for analyzing where the weakness could emerge, particularly during syncing, local storage, and plugin interaction. Let's break down how LastPass offers differ between individual user and enterprise user. The free and platinum premium tiers are geared towards personal use. You get core features like uh, unlimited vault storage, a password generator syncing across devices. Within Premium, you unlock dark web monitoring, secure file storage, emergency access for trusted contracts, useful but still user focused. Enterprise is where LastPass shifts to business grade security. It introduces full admin dashboard, directory integration with Azure AD and LDAP, and team-based shared folder. One of the biggest gap in the policy enforcement, enterprise version can mandate uh, multi-factor authentication across all users and monitor activity with the same integrated security report. Features not available in the home. These features are not available in the home plan. In short, while personal tiers protect individuals, enterprise plans are built for scale, compliance, and managing risk across entire organization. Next slide. Core security features. Let's look what is under the hood when it comes to LastPass security. Their zero knowledge architecture is the core strength. It means LastPass never store or sees your master password. All encryption and decryption happens locally in the device before any data is sent to the cloud. The derive encryption keys, they use SHA-256, which stands for password based key deviation function 2. It strengthens your password by applying SHA-256 hashing hardens of throughout the time, showing down the brute force attack. Fault connections Vault connections are encrypted using 256 SHA-256 AES in GCM mode, a military-grade shipper known for both security and efficiency. On top of what users can unlock their vault with FIDO2, a biometric based authentication, a standard supported by devices like Face ID or Windows Hello. Operations two-factor authentication is available too using TOTP apps like Google Authenticator, hardware keys like YubiKey or Duo Security. However, here is a catch. The 2022 breach didn't break the math. It exposed gaps in how keys and metadata were handled. This highlights that real-world security depends on solid implementation, not just a strong cryptography. Let's look at this diagram. This is from LastPass website. Uh, Here it says password-based key deviation function 2, PBKDF2. It strengthens password by making them computational expense to crack. And AES 256 is advanced encryption standard with 256-bit keys. It's widely used in banking, defense, and data storage. This diagram shows LastPass uses zero-knowledge security model, meaning even the company itself cannot see see your master password. Uh, the password goes through the PBKDF2 hashing, which is which is a scratching process that makes brute force attack much harder. Here they are using 6,000 rounds, essentially repeating the process to slow down the attack. This process produces two thinking, an authentication hash and an encryption key. The encryption key is used to lock your vault using AES 256 cryptography, a military grade encryption standard. Uh, then we have a then we have the server side. LastPass receives derived authentication key but never sees your master password or actual content of the vault. This model offers a strong protection, but as well, we see later the implementation had critical gaps, especially hardening the metadata and internal access. Let's talk about why so many people uses LastPass is loaded with usability perks. Features like autofill for login, payment card addresses save users tons of time. They also introduce risk, which I will explain in a moment. There is also secure note storage for things like Wi-Fi password or recovery code, and built-in password generator to create a strong unique credential. Another major convenience is cross-device sync. Your vault works on mobile, desktop, browser, anywhere, and if someone happens to you, LastPass even offers emergency access. You can designate a trusted contact to get in. For enterprise user, it goes further. Access policies, password rules, anomaly detections are available. But where the trade-off is noted by Hype system in 2023, features like autofill can be exploited. If a browser is compromised, hackers could grab credential directly from autofill field. Let's now focus on cryptographic backbone of the LastPass. First, the encryption algorithm used in ACE 256, which is industry standard. It encrypts each vault item individually, so even if one part is compromised, the rest remain safe. Next is the key-driven function of KDF. LastPass uses PBKDF2 SHA-256, which stresses your master password into a strong cryptographic key. The iteration count is 100,000. This aligns with the NIST standard 800-132 through more modern managers let you change that number for extra security. A key strength of LastPass is zero knowledge model. The master password never leaves the device. This means even LastPass themselves cannot decrypt your vault. However, there are caveats. For example, metadata, things like website URL, timestamp is not encrypted. That data alone can give attacker clues about your habits and accounts, and especially in a breach like the one happened in 2022. Finally, compared to tools like Bitwarden, user control is somewhat limited. You can fully tweak cryptographic setting, which could be frustrating for more secure, conscious user, more advanced user. You cannot change the cryptographic setting. Okay, this slide will break down the timeline of the LastPass breach, one of the most impactful event in the password manager history. It started August 2022 when an attacker compromised a DevOps engineer's home PC. This wasn't a technical exploit in the cloud, it was a targeted personal attack that exposed credentials and allowed access to development environment. By 2022, LastPass confirmed that the breach happened. Public disclosure was followed, and it was revealed that encrypted vault backup was accessed by an attacker. Between January and March of 2023, LastPass began advising users to reset the master password and re-enable multi-factor authentication. But for many users, it was too late. One of the most shocking outcome was over 5 million in cryptocurrency was stolen, not by cracking encrypted password, but by abusing metadata like URLs and access pattern. This breach proves that even a strong encryption isn't enough. It underscores the need for DevSecOps, integrating security into every part of the development pipeline, from endpoint security to metadata hardening. Now let's look at why the LastPass breach was so devastating. There wasn't just technical oversight, there were strategical failures. First, MFA was bypassed, but not through a vulnerability in the MFA system itself. Instead, attacker compromised a developer's home machine and extracted active session token, a subtle but devastating method. Second, after the breach, LastPass didn't enforce immediate key or password rotation. This means that even after the incident became public, users' vault could still be decrypted if an attacker had the encrypted backup and guessed the master password. Third, the metadata wasn't encrypted, so even if the passwords were, your usage pattern were not. Knowing someone uh, uses Coinbase or uh, Photon Mail can help attacker target follow-up phishing or fraud. Lastly, the slow and fragmented disclosure left users confused. It wasn't clear how severe the breach was until months later, which we weakened the user's response and fueled distrust. In summary, this wasn't a failure of cryptography, it was a failure of operational security and transparency. Let's take a step back and assess the security posture of LastPass holistically, not just from their marketing claims, but from what the breach taught us. On the positive note, LastPass still uses solid cryptography, AES 256 combined with PBKDF2 SHA-256 for hashing is industry standard. Their zero knowledge model ensures no one at LastPass can encrypt your data in theory. They also support multiple forms of multi-factor authentication like TOT apps, like hardware keys, like YubiKey, biometrics. This does add a layer of protection if configured, but here is where things starts to break down. Despite good cryptography, mismanaged internal credential like a DevOps engineer compromised session led to the breach. Metadata wasn't encrypted, so even without decrypting vault, attacker learned what sites user accessed and 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 crucially, no key rotation was forced, so even users who were breached might not have known their last data was vulnerable for months. If I were on a red team tasked with attacking LastPass user, I wouldn't brute force AES. I would go after their browser plugin, autofill feature, and API sync endpoints. As a researchers like Goodwin uh, and Carbs already have warned them. So let us go through the recommendation I have came up with for securing LastPass or the areas or the similar areas. Okay, so cryptographic flexibility. PBKDF2 stands for password-based key derivation function 2, deviation function 2. It's used to slow down brute force attack by making password guessing harder. Right now, LastPass uses 100,000 iterations by default, but users can change this. If someone wanted a stronger protection, they are stuck. Areas of metadata protection. This kind of leaked metadata help attacker build pattern of users behavior even if the password themselves are encrypted. Key management. Key rotation just means changing the keys used on encrypt your data. It's like changing your lock after someone copies your keys. NIST, America's cybersecurity um, standard body, recommends rotating the key after any compromise. So this needs to be enforced. Internal access control, explain zero trust. So zero trust means no one gets full access by default. Not even internal employees. Access is limited, and everything needs to be verified continuously. It's like giving each employee a key to only the door they need. Okay. There is zero trust, which is very popular. Also there is uh, security model like you get the password right before the access, and after the access session is gone, your password will also expire. So there are many mechanism we could suggest. Okay, browser extension security. Let's researcher Dan Goodwin in 2025 reported how attacker used the LastPass browser extension itself to hijack session. So we are recommending that LastPass add behavior-based alerts to stop this type of this early. In short, encourage a stronger cryptographic flexibility, encrypt everything, not just password, automate response after the breach, limit internal developer access, watch browser extension like Hawk. Endpoint security. Many attackers begin at the user's device. In the breach 2022, the engineer's laptop was the entry point. Using a EDR tool or device compliance check can prevent this from happening again. User password hygiene. Weak master password is a common vulnerability. Companies should teach users how to create a strong password using entropy, basically password randomness. Password tips should appear in the app's design, so not hidden in the documentation. Secure backup strategy. In the breach, attacker got access to the old backup file. These backups were not segmented and they were accessible from machines that should not have had the access. Encrypting and isolating the backup is a must. Audit and transparency. We need more than promise. Show us the proof. Public security audit done annually by third parties build trust and exposes gaps. This creates pressure for ongoing improvements. MFA enforcement, multi-factor authentication or MFA should not be optional. Uh, req- Requiring MFA for every vault login can shut down most brute force and phishing attacks. Okay, alternatives to consider after LastPass. Uh, Bitwarden is a open source, which means the code is available for public inspection. It also allows you to tweak the number of iteration in its key deviation setting, so users get more control based on their risk tolerance. One password stands out for encrypting metadata. So something LastPass failed to do. They also have the response security team that regularly addresses emerging threats. KeyPass XC is a great option. If you are okay with a more hands-on tool, it stores everything locally, doesn't sync to the cloud, which minimizes your attack surface. And regardless of which manager you choose, there is one no negotiable: run audits, simulate breaches, just like fire drills. Breach drill, keep the team ready and reliance. To wrap up this research, I want to emphasize a few final thoughts that apply to not just LastPass but to all password managers and really to all digital tools we trust with sensitive data. First, no password manager is invincible, not even those with zero knowledge architecture. Trust must be earned, regularly re-evaluated. Security is not static, it is constantly being tested. Second, encryption does not mean immunity. It is a strong line of defense, but it cannot compense all misconfiguration, poor response practices, and leaking metadata like URLs and IP. Third, security is a shared responsibility. We can't just blame the vendor when something goes wrong. We as a user must also practice a strong hygiene like enabling multi-factor authentication, reviewing audit log, understanding the risk, and finally, breaches teach us more than any marketing campaign ever could. They force companies to evolve and they help the rest of us ask better questions about the tool we rely on. So instead of seeing breaches as failure alone, we should also treat them as uh, comfortable but necessary teachable moment. Thank you for patiently listening my uh, presentation. Um, uh, Thank you very much.